Hello, my name's Ben. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Prusa Mini Plus that I've had for about 3 months now and doing a sort of review of it, how it's been working and how I've found it, being my first ever 3D printer and, you know, this being my entry into the world of 3D printing and how I've got on, as well as how has this performed. Anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, so this is the Prusa Mini with the cantilever design above the heat bed, as you can see there, and the full colour LCD display mounted to the right hand side. There we have the filament sensor running up before the extruder, which was an optional extra that I decided to get, and I think it's 20 bucks extra and well worth it. So here we can see the extruder body with the servo on the back, or the stepper motor, sorry. That is the extruder wheel, and that's the part that pushes the filament up through the Bowden tube round to the hot end. And here we have the LCD panel, full colour display, and a twisting knob there to use to select the functions and the programs that you want to use at a specific time. It's all very neat and very compact and really well built. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the prints that have come from the Prusa Mini Plus. This is a low poly fox printed in PETG. This was the first time I used PETG on the Prusa, and this came from a guy that was selling some filament that he didn't want anymore, and he'd stored it in his garage, so there might be some moisture in there, so that's had an effect, I think, on the print. However, this was, you know, off the Prusa slicer settings for Prusa meant PETG, and it's pretty good. It's certainly acceptable for the level of printing that I'm looking for. Here are several test cubes that I've done, just the general test cubes again in the PETG, just to see if it worked. It's not the best quality on the top, but it's pretty good. This is a white PLA. Again, this was stored in a garage and does have some slight issues along some of the layer lines there. And this is a wood filament that I got, a PLA wood filament from can't remember. The bottom layer for some reason just did not go down, whether that was a dirty bed, I'm not sure. It was on a smooth PEI or PIE sheet, so that possibly is a reason, but other than that it looks pretty good. This was the first print I did. This was with some Prusa filament that I got a sample of that they send, and this was the first Benchy that I printed. I tried to write first print on there so I would remember, but the detail is really good, so much better than I was expecting, without having to do any tuning to it, fine tuning. I just put the file in, printed it. Bridging is good across there and along the back window as well. Top layer and the chimney stack, really good, and the hull and the bow. So they're good. This was also a phone stand that I did. One of the first things I did in Prusa Galaxy PLA, I think. Didn't put the supports on and got some wobbly parts there, and again there, printed it in that orientation, so that was why, I think. But again, really good functional print, strong, great layer adhesion. some lines here. I'm not sure what they are. If anybody knows what that might be, could you let me know in the comments, because I'd be interested. They're very regular and at the same point, so I'm thinking it's possibly a mechanical issue, maybe a bearing or a belt. This is not so good. This is a failure that I've had. I've tried to print this a few times, and this is with the wood PLA, and get really excessive stringing, which apparently is a consistent thing with wood PLA, and bridging, not great here. Tried to print this with supports and without supports, and I just can't seem to get the settings dialed in on that. Again, if anybody knows how to print something like this, it's very thin and flimsy. If anybody knows anything about the settings that would optimize this print, then please let me know, because I'm trying to print this for a friend. It's a model of the oak cabin that he built, and thought it would be a really nice thing for him to keep, mounted on a piece of scrap wood from the build perhaps, and the date. But obviously can't give it to him like this. Some other prints that I've done are a number of these 22mm watch stands. They're from Thingiverse. I'll leave the files to all of the things from Thingiverse in the comments below. These are really nice. They've come out great. This is with a black PLA, printed like that, so you get a nice surface. A little bit of mark in there. Not sure what's caused that. On the Galaxy PLA, it's still there, but not as noticeable. And again in white, just for a nice Skagen watch. Fits it really nice, holds it really well, good balance. Really impressed with this print. I really like it. Again, this was a two-piece print that snapped together. The lid, not a print in place, the lid slapped together. There's a couple of nodes that click in there. I'm not sure if I can. Ah, there we go. So you might be able to see if my camera can pick this up. There and there. And they just snap into place there and there. And this is a case for headphones, earbuds. You just wrap the cord around there. It closes, keeps them neat in your pocket, stops them getting tangled up. It's just a touch too small for the ones I have, because they've got a volume control on it, which catches on these edges here and doesn't allow you to wind it up. But if I scaled this up by 2%, 5%, we'd get a really good sized container for my headphones. Really neat, pretty strong. Again, just another impressive functional print straight off the Prusa Mini Plus. So here I've just put the Ooze Nest lumber filament in. I'm going to test I'll do a 3D print of a Benchy with the wood filament. So I've loaded the file onto the USB. The original USB that I got with this doesn't work anymore. That's a common problem, I think. So just any other one will work. You put it in there, and the screen, if you can pick that up, automatically brings up the last saved profile on the USB from the slicer. So we've got 3D Benchy wood. So if I just click print, the printer is now heating up. The timer started. It will do an auto home and then a bed leveling process where it just takes a reference point across the bed from the Super Pinder probe. As you can see now, it's heated up, and this is the print going down. So that's the skirt, which follows around the first layer. Some of the text from the Benchy profile. Be interested to see how this one comes out, so we'll come back and have a look at it in a little while. It should take about an hour, this print. So as far as things go with this printer, being my first printer, I can't really fault it. The print quality is really good, better than I was expecting, and I can only get better really as I get better at tuning the slicer and working out how the different materials work and tuning that in and tuning the printer into that. The size and the price of it are both really good, I think. You can print bigger volume projects on it if you manage to put them down into separate parts and components. I haven't been restricted in the size of it for anything that I've wanted to do so far. It's very user friendly, it's very easy to get going as a beginner and start to understand kind of all the nuances of 3D printing and how the machine works with the software and how the software works in relation to the models that you're doing. I haven't actually managed to print anything that I've designed yet. I'm still trying to learn Fusion 360, but I know you can use SketchUp to 3D print from as well. So that might be something that I try because I've got a bit more experience with that, and I'll maybe do a video on that in a few days' time or a bit later on. But Fusion 360 does seem to be the one that most people use for 3D printing applications from what I've seen on YouTube, which is where I'm getting all my information from. And there is a huge amount of resources on YouTube for Prusa printers and for the Prusa slicer as well. So definitely the go-to place if you're thinking of starting and buying this printer as your first one. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's been faultless so far and really great fun and a good learning experience.